Have you ever wondered why some race cars are remembered for decades, while others disappear the moment their season ends? What makes one machine fade into history, while another becomes a legend that people still talk about today? Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, where did you first hear stories about old race cars like these? Was it from a documentary, a magazine, or someone who lived through that era? And be honest, have you ever seen a car like this in real life? In the early days of racing, cars weren't built to last. They were built to win once, maybe twice, and then be replaced. Racing teams expected engines to blow, frames to crack, and bodies to tear apart after just a few brutal races. Speed was everything. Longevity didn't matter. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. But every once in a while, something extraordinary happened. A car came along that refused to follow the rules. A machine so well built, so over-engineered, that it kept coming back season after season, long after anyone expected it to survive. These weren't just fast cars. They were stubborn. They were tough. They were the kind of machines that looked destruction in the face and said, "Not today." And the engineers who built them, they didn't always realize they were creating legends. Sometimes they were just trying to solve a problem, make it stronger, make it simpler, make it reliable. But by doing that, they accidentally created something timeless. Back then, racing was raw. No advanced computers, no simulation software, no carbon fiber labs, just metal, oil, sweat, and instinct. Drivers pushed these cars to their absolute limits, lap after lap, race after race. Tracks were unforgiving. Safety standards were minimal. If a car survived an entire season, it was considered lucky. If it survived multiple seasons, that was almost unheard of. And yet, some cars did more than survive. They dominated. Year after year, new competitors arrived, faster on paper, more modern, more advanced. But somehow, these old machines kept winning. They weren't supposed to. Logic said they should be obsolete. Technology said they should be outdated. But racing doesn't always listen to logic. Racing rewards what works. Imagine a car lining up on the grid, surrounded by newer, shinier rivals, bigger budgets, fresh designs, cutting-edge ideas. And yet, when the green flag dropped, this old warrior still had the speed, the balance, and the reliability to fight back. Fans noticed. Drivers respected it. Rivals feared it. Slowly, a reputation began to grow. People started to say things like, "That car just doesn't break," or "No matter what we throw at it, it keeps coming back." Mechanics knew it too. Some cars fought them every weekend, demanding constant repairs. Others, they just worked. They asked for fuel, tires, and basic care, and then delivered performance again and again. This is where legends are born, not in a single victory, but in consistency, in survival, in refusing to quit. Think about it. How many modern cars do you think will still be talked about 50 years from now? Which of today's machines will be remembered as truly indestructible? Drop your thoughts below, because the cars we're talking about today earned their place the hard way. In this countdown, we're going back to a time when racing was more mechanical than digital, when durability mattered as much as speed. These are the race cars that engineers accidentally made too strong. Cars that stayed competitive long after they should have been retired. Cars that proved that true greatness isn't about being the fastest for one season, but about lasting forever. And this is only the beginning, because the first car on our list didn't just survive racing, it redefined what toughness meant on the track. Its story starts in an era when failure was expected and ends with a legacy that refuses to fade. So stay with me, and don't forget, if stories like this fascinate you, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you think. Now, let's get ready, because part 2 is where the real machines step into the spotlight. 20 years of heartbreak, 20 years of almosts, 20 years of frustration at Daytona International Speedway. Every attempt, every race, something cruel would happen. Engines would explode, tires would blow, lapped cars would collide. Once, a seagull even struck the car at full speed. It was as if the universe itself refused to let one man win the biggest race of his life. And yet, he kept showing up, week after week, season after season. No excuses, no giving up. That's what made him different. That's why he became a legend. In 1998, the day before the race, something unusual happened. Dale Earnhardt met a group of Make-A-Wish children. One little girl, 6 years old, had a penny in her hand. She told Dale, "This is lucky. It will help you win tomorrow." Normally, Dale didn't believe in luck or superstition. But something about this moment stuck. He walked back to his garage, squeezed the penny in his fist, and glued it to his dashboard. That small gesture would become a symbol of hope, determination, and a long-awaited victory. The next day, race day, Dale took control immediately. He led over 100 laps, navigating caution flags, overtaking challengers, and using every bit of his experience. The crowd could feel it, the culmination of 2 decades of effort, sacrifice, and relentless drive. When the checkered flag waved, he had done it. He had finally won the Daytona 500. And then, something never seen before happened. As Dale drove down pit road, almost every crew member from nearly every team lined up along the wall. Not just his team, every rival, every mechanic, every engineer, every tire changer waited to congratulate him. A show of respect so profound that it would never be forgotten in racing history. If you were watching that moment, wouldn't you be amazed? Drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed a moment like that in racing? Or in any sport? By the late 90s, NASCAR was exploding in popularity. Bigger TV deals, more sponsors, a new generation of fans. At the center of this revolution were 2 drivers. Dale Earnhardt, the blue-collar, Southern, old-school master of the black number 3, and Jeff Gordon, the polished, California-raised, rainbow car superstar. Their rivalry wasn't just about racing. It represented a clash of eras, past versus future, grit versus glamour, instinct versus strategy. And through it all, Dale remained a figure who embodied perseverance, fearlessness, and authenticity. Even at 49, Dale continued to dominate. His final victory at Talladega was one of the most remarkable displays of racing skill. 17 cars passed in 4 laps, and yet he emerged victorious, proving that age, experience, and courage could overcome almost anything. Then came February 18, 2001, the 43rd Daytona 500. Chaos from the start, massive wrecks, cars flipping, drivers scrambling. Dale Earnhardt was in 3rd place, protecting his 2 drivers running 1-2, Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. He blocked, defended, and strategized, keeping his team safe while pushing the car to its limits. And then, on the final lap in turn 3, disaster struck. His car made contact, spun, and slammed nearly head-on into the wall. It didn't look catastrophic at first, but it was. Dale Earnhardt would never climb out. At 5:16 p.m., he was pronounced dead from a basilar skull fracture. He was 49 years old. And in that moment, the sport stopped. The impact was seismic. NASCAR didn't just mourn a legend, it changed forever. Safety became paramount. Head and neck restraints were mandated. Safer barriers installed. Cars redesigned. Seat belts upgraded. Tracks rebuilt. And since that day, no driver has died in the top 3 national series of NASCAR. Every safety advancement, every innovation, carries a piece of Dale's legacy. Yet his story doesn't end with tragedy. The number 3 still races. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated grew into a multi-car team, nurturing talent like Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip, and others. His influence shaped a generation of drivers. Fans still raise 3 fingers at Daytona, remembering the Intimidator who taught them what courage, skill, and persistence truly look like. And that penny, still glued to the dashboard of the 1998 Daytona 500 car. A tiny symbol of hope, belief, and the impossible finally achieved. 30 years later, it hasn't moved. The confetti still remains, a frozen moment in time that tells the story of a man who refused to quit. Dale Earnhardt wasn't just a racer. He wasn't perfect. He was aggressive, relentless, sometimes feared. But he was honest, hard-working, and committed to his craft. And that's why, decades later, his legend lives on. The 3rd lap at Daytona still belongs to him. So tell me, where did you first hear about Dale Earnhardt? Have you ever seen a car like his in real life? And if you want more stories like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe.